given the prevalence of social media, it's so easy to be reactive in terms of seeing someone do something, seeing someone living a certain way, and being triggered internally to be like, oh, lacking in me, I need to be able to do this. Because we're social creatures and we're wired that way. It's kind of like how we're fitting in the hierarchy, like we're wired to be like that. So you have to be really conscious of that instinct, and social media just like puts that on steroids, especially like looking at TikTok or Reels or any of these short form things where you're just like taking in all this information, compare, just like so many people in one sitting. And this sets you up to be in like this stress state of feeling like you need to do something. So this goes back to stop doing shit, just stop it. This is at the core of that. So what I mean when I say stop fucking doing shit, I mean stop acting from the place of feeling like you need to do something because you're lacking. And yeah, again, you have to develop awareness of why you're doing something. And you don't want to spend too much time in your head, which is the trick. It's not necessarily easy, but you don't want to be like, oh, why am I doing this? Is it because of it? Like, because you don't always know, but you can very easily just tune in and be like, do I want to do this? Why do I want to do this? Just ask yourself really simply, and just have just briefly let the answers come to you. If you see someone and if something excites you, something you see even on social media or whatever, you're like, oh, I should do that. There's nothing wrong with that, because I think we are collaborative naturally. We're always checking in, oh, this, new fashion, new this, you're kind of always calibrating, updating. So I'm not talking about that, but it's, say you like see some cool DJing or something and you're like, oh, I should be a DJ. And maybe you should be a DJ, like there's nothing wrong with exploring it, but think about the reasons why you're doing it, or just ask yourself, well, why do I want to do that? And if it's like, oh, it just seems like it would be fun, give it a crack, go for it. But if you are doing things, especially on social media, there's like lots of people teaching you stuff. Obviously that's content is, edutainment type, educational entertainment videos, and like people taking the expert position and being like, I'm going to teach you this, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, you don't want to be doing this. You don't want to be doing this. And often it's like quite polarizing information, and you're like, oh shit, I'm doing, whatever. It catches you and I need to be investing. Oh, I need to be doing this. It's that feeling that I'm talking about. And you can see it at a subtle level as well, or you can observe it in yourself at a subtle level as well. So just, I guess the way out of it for a start is being able to find your ground zero, just finding your home base, which requires you to have some sort of practice of quieting the mind and just processing all the impressions that you get throughout the day, but primarily through being on your phone or on your computer or whatever, as in through social media and YouTube, whatever, all these kinds of things. But to be able to ground yourself again and just like, I'm here. And it's a feeling, you connect with that feeling, and you just see it all the noise around you, like, oh, actually, no, that's not what's most important. Tapping into that sort of feeling there where you're home, like, so meditation's great if you can do some sort of transmutation of the energy through breathing, or even if you just do simple breathing practice for 10 minutes, just sort of like, just slowing it down and just allowing yourself to return to that home base. That is so key, because then you can, if you don't have that, then you're just perpetually in the noise and you have no context, you have no grounding. So you need, and it's all in your head, it's all up here, it's all cerebral, and you need to ground yourself. So find a practice that does that for you. You could be into yoga, or even gym training can do that, but often you're getting pumped up, maybe you're listening through your headphones, you're listening to some sort of content or whatever. So I'm talking about something still, quiet, just calming, like a walk through nature with no headphones, or just going for a walk with no headphones even, that's fine. You don't have to be in nature, but that kind of thing, something to ground you, because we're all up here cerebrally. Ground yourself. Then you can be like, okay, what's most important? And usually a lot of these things, I should try this, it's like that idea will imprint on you, and if it sticks around, then it's like, oh yeah, maybe that is worthwhile. But it's also, if it sticks around, it could be because you're seeing a lot of content like that. So it's hard to know for sure, but the main thing is not to be reacting in a I feel lacking kind of way. Like, I need to get good at golf. Like, you see so much golf, or at least I do, so much golf content. It seems to be the big thing in the world, like the big sport, all the golf bros, and everyone's into golf now. Everyone's all humor around golf and all this kind of stuff. So obviously it's been in for the last few years. Obviously golf's always been around, but it's particularly in at the moment. So like feeling like you need to play golf, like you don't need to play golf. If it's something that's like, oh, that could be fun, I wouldn't mind trying it, do it. But like you also don't need to like fully buy in and make it your identity and all of this shit. Just get out there and play and see if you enjoy it, and like don't post anything. Stop posting shit and stop making it your personality. Like that would be the thing. Like that's a good way to do it, is not make things your personality. Just try things. Don't let anyone know you're doing it. Like, maybe you play with your friends. I mean, like, don't publicly be like, oh, I'm playing this now, and make it your identity. Just play it and see if you enjoy it. And don't do it for some sort of external kind of, oh, he does it, you know what I mean? Or like to fit in or whatever, in the general sense. But again, it's kind of like, I say that, but then also it's like, maybe you have some friends that are like, oh, do you play golf? You're like, oh, no, I wanted to get into it. Like, that's far more organic, and just like do it. And give it a try, whatever. So it's like, it's not so serious, but yeah, just if you can return to that home grounded state, you'll know sort of what's not really most pressing right now, and what's reactionary, and very little is actually pressing right now. That's the other thing, is like this constant rush, like this constant stress state we find ourselves in. You wake up, if you don't go straight on your phone, excellent. Like if you do, you're tapping back into it, you're going straight from grounded up, up to here after you processed everything throughout the night, then you're straight back up here, back into the noise, and just like not grounded, and just reacting to whoever lost. It's so hard to ground yourself when one person's saying this, one person's saying this, you're like, oh, I don't even know, whoa, and you just tuned in and you constantly stress, oh, the economy, this, like that's that whole noisy state that we exist in. So if you can step away from that, ground yourself, then you realize like it's pretty simple. Like life's pretty simple in many ways. Obviously there's challenges, and you're going into the unknown a lot of the time. You're like, okay, I don't know how I'm going to handle this. When you're in this state of connecting with life, it is a mystery still, and you're like, okay, well, this is the current challenge, whatever. But most of the other shit is just noise, really. It really is noise. So stop doing shit, really stop doing things. Get off social media, give yourself a detox for a week or something, or at least a few days, ground yourself, do some daily like breathing, some meditation, tune into that feeling more, tune into that home grounded state more, and yeah, literally ground yourself and be like, okay, what's important here? What can I not worry about? Because half the worry about, oh, I gotta get all this money, I need this to do that. It's like, you don't need all that money to do all that stuff. That's all just because you believe in these, I gotta do this, blah, blah, because you feel lacking. Like, you're fine, you're already enough. There's nothing you need to do. Get into that state as often as possible. And then from there, you have clarity. You're like, what do I want to do? And you should have an instinct. Maybe it is you want to play golf. Oh, I've always wanted to try golf out. Okay, sweet, give it a go. And just like have a proper crack with it. Like, commit to it for a few months, or like, I'm going to practice every day for this thing, or I'm going to hit the driving range 3 times a week and play every Saturday or whatever. Like, commit to it for a period, so you know if you enjoy it, or if it's interesting to you. That way you can be like, you can bolster yourself from people who are like, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. You're like, oh, I've tried it, I know what you're doing things that you like, because it's coming from a place of interest and excitement, and it'd be like, oh, this looks fun, rather than being like, something bad's gonna happen if I don't do this, I'm not gonna have any friends, or blah, blah, you know what I mean? Like, that's reacting, that's a lacking. We're coming from now, a place of groundedness, and I'm gonna try these things. I wanna try these things. You don't have to overthink why you're wanting to do these things, but if you're in that grounded state, you can tap into that. You're like, okay, I'm gonna try going to a boxing gym for a little bit, like these kinds of things. You're still not 100% sure what your whole thing is, like, it's fine not to know, but it's like, I want to try these things. But again, the point is, it's coming from a place of interest, excitement, this could be cool. And that's all you really need, as in, rather than, it's just the contrast between that and this need to constantly, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, oh, I gotta be a sick fucking TikTok dancer, oh shit, and like, but I also gotta have mad riz, and I gotta fucking like go chat up chicks, but then I also gotta be jacked as hell, and like somehow I gotta work every day, and then but I also gotta have a side hustle and like grind set, all of this kind of like feeling like you need to do all this stuff. Oh, I'm not eating clean enough, blah, 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 like all of this stuff. It's just noise. It's such noise, and it doesn't matter. It matters very, very little. So we're getting out of that, putting that aside, going back to your home state, getting back into your frame, guarding your frame, and being like, this is what I want to do. I'm going to experiment because it's interesting to me. And then the challenge is facing the resistance that comes from that. So you're going to be like, oh, I want to do this, but then you're like, oh, I can't be fucked, because you're going against inertia, and then you're going against fears, and it's the unknown, and that's why it's easier to just jump back into the noise and be like, oh, I got to do this, because you're distracting yourself from the underlying fears and limitations that you have because you're afraid to go into the unknown. And think about going into the unknown. It's actually safe. There's nothing to be afraid of, but for whatever reason, we carry this resistance to it. But the more you go into that uncomfortable place, and the deeper you go into the heart of darkness, or however you want to look at it, into the resistance, less and less people are willing to do that, and that sets you apart. So if you think about like getting to some level of success with something, it's like, how deep can you go into the darkness? Because the deeper you go, the longer you stay with it consistently. That's like the deeper you go into it and stay with it consistently, the further away you are going from the herd, from the rest of us, everyone who aren't willing to go that deep because of fear or discomfort or boredom or all these kinds of things. And that's what sets you apart. And there's fewer people there. And if you can just hang out in these uncomfortable positions, good things will come to you. But we get in our heads, and so we don't do it, and we succumb to the feelings of resistance, and they can be very, very strong. Even like for me, just to sit down for 15 minutes or something to just do some writing, it's like, oh god, no, I can't be bothered. And that's partly because of conditioning, because of like dopamine and that kind of thing, but fundamentally it's like going into the unknown. It's a process. Often it takes mental work, and that's hard, or it's a combination of different things. Fear of how it's going to be received, resistance because it actually takes effort to use your mind rather than just like using ChatGPT or whatever AI. Not that there's necessarily anything wrong with that, but like things that are meaningful, and the processes you need to go through yourself to learn the lessons, to go deeper into the darkness, to become more proficient and get more enjoyment from things that you do, and set yourself aside from people and become an expert, or create value for yourself in the world, requires you to go through a lot of resistance, and you just need to go through it. There's no other way. So that's kind of the challenge. First challenge is shutting out all the noise and stop doing shit. Just be still, figure out, just ground yourself. What am I interested in, or what do I have half an interest in? What do I know? What's in front of me? What are the challenges I'm facing? Face them, continue to focus on those things. And then after that, you know what you need to do, but then it's just facing the resistance. And so you got to just start small, chip away at it. It's not going to be comfortable. Allow yourself to have things to make it more comfortable, whether you need to have a coffee or rely on caffeine for a little bit. Don't worry about that. Like, you can get out of that later, but this is establishing good habits. This is getting you to a place where you feel more well-being because you're more aligned with what you're doing. And when you're more aligned with what you're doing, you don't feel the need to, as in you're more aligned with what you naturally want to do, as in what you're called to do, like what your being wants to do, aligned with your purpose, you might say. You feel more well-being, and then you don't need these vices anymore, and they sort of naturally can fall away. But if you're trying to be perfect and like, no, I can't have any vices, I can't rely on any of this thing, then you're forced to face the raw resistance, which is deeply, deeply uncomfortable, and it requires so much focus and discipline, and it's not a pleasant experience. and it's hard to get past that. So having support, setting yourself up, you don't need to take up whatever bad habits or whatever, but just allow yourself a bit of lenience is the point. Whatever you, the bare minimum of what you need to get past and keep showing up each day. And if that means you put on a little bit of weight, or if that means you lose a bit of weight because you're not eating as much, or whatever it is, just like you can remedy that after it. But for the focus is getting some momentum and getting progressing in the things that are aligned with your purpose, what you like, what you enjoy. Because once that happens, all of the other stuff is that you're kind of like, oh, how good is this? And that's motivating you and you're excited to get out of bed each day. But if you're perpetually stuck in this place where you're not making enough momentum because you're like trying to do everything perfectly, then you're going to have a very, very bad time. And you may get there in the end, but you're using so much willpower and it's just unlikely you'll sustain yourself through it. So stop fucking doing shit, get rid of the noise, ground yourself, breathe, meditate, stay tuned into your frame. What's challenges are in front of you? What are you called to do? Focus on that. Protect your frame with your life, because everyone's going to be like, oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. Focus on that. Keep that centered day in, day out, and then chip away at the things that you're interested in and what you're called to do, and face that discomfort and just keep showing up. That's how you get out of this hellhole. Peace.